So at this time, I will now hand over the presentation to Mr. DeJarvis Leonard. Mr. Leonard?
Thank you, Callie, and thank you for joining us on our August media briefing. This is an opportunity for us to show you some audio aerial photography of what has taken place over the last month and give you an update on some things that have taken place primarily with our road closures. As we have said in the past, this is an overall project consists of 4 phases. Phase 1 and Phase A was the sections of lengthening the bridges at 12th Avenue and 31st Street. Phase 1 was the widening of bridges on I-65 at 2nd, 3rd, and 4th Avenue, and Phase 2 was the modification of the interchange at 5920 and I-65. Most of the work that's going on now currently is the demolition of the bridges and the reconstruction of the interchange at Red Mountain Expressway and 31st Street. So we're making significant progress on Phase 3. As you know, the segmental construction is the focus of our attention currently. Segmental construction consists of placing segments that are approximately 12 feet in length, one at a time, over shoring towers, and then we will post tension with segments so they can carry the load. Currently, they're working in what we call 8 headings or 8 different locations. Currently, as of this week, we've erected approximately 1,600 segments. This was done earlier this week, this count, and we have approximately 700 segments remaining to erect before we'll be finished with the segmental bridges, the mainline bridges on 5920 that connects I-65 and Red Mountain Expressway. This is an aerial view of those 8 headings. Headings 1 is primarily they'll be working around 16th Street. Phase 2, primarily the work remaining is at 19th Street. Phase 4, I turn this view around. We're looking toward the airport now. It's going to be near Sheraton. We've got this area along eastbound roadway that has to be complete. Phase 5, work will primarily be around 22nd and 23rd Street. And phase heading 6 is around 24th Street in this area. And heading 7 is over Caraway and the area around Caraway, completing those connections. And heading 8 is primarily over the railroad. As we have stated in the past, we are erecting the segments for the eastbound and westbound, or north and southbound, and we're placing closure pours to connect the 2 segments for each direction. This is a view of the closure pours and the segments going northbound and southbound. This is a view of the closure pours looking underneath the bridges and how they're forming for the closure pours to connect the bridges to finalize the riding surface for the bridges. This is a view looking underneath the bridge after a completed portion of the closure pours. This is a view of the segmental construction, how the bridges are being placed. As they're placing one of the segments, you can see this is a joint. They'll place this and get the segment in place, and then they'll squeeze those together utilizing epoxy that will be placed there between the joint, and that epoxy will somewhat drip out on this protection that's underneath each joint to avoid that epoxy from dripping on equipment and underneath the bridges, people who work. This is a view of the segmental construction area also. And once it's complete, and you can see the shoring towers, how they're protecting or holding up or supporting the segments. Another view of the segmental construction. This is the device that is used to do the post-tensioning of the segments. They anchor one side and they stress or put forces to post-tension those strands from the other side. And by doing so, that creates the locking mechanism or the ability to support the loads that will be placed on the bridges. We're still counting down. We're down to 7 months, 7 days that the contractor has to complete the 5920 and half traffic back on the on that section. That is March 22nd, 2020. The incentive phase of the project begins 5 months, 6 days. After that date, they're starting to lose a day on every day they lose $250,000. So the contractor really wants to finish early, but he is on target to definitely be finished before March the 22nd, 2020. These are some area views that was taken last week of the work that's ongoing. You can see this is looking at Red Mountain Expressway looking south, and you can see the new ramps that are functioning. This is the ramp that goes from 31st Street that would tie to the mainline bridges. It will connect with the ramp coming from Red Mountain Expressway north that will be headed south on 5920 also. This is the ramp coming from the mainline bridges that will go to 31st Street. If you're traveling northbound on 59 and exit to 31st Street, this is the ramp that will connect there. This is another view of the Red Mountain Expressway looking back east. This is the same ramp that I spoke of earlier, coming from Red Mountain Expressway to the mainline bridges. And this is the ramp that comes from 31st Street to the mainline bridges. You can see that they have some of what we call the stay-in-place forms in place. This is metal decking to pour the final concrete deck, and these are some of the concrete deck that's complete also. So they're making progress. You can see also the segmental construction over Caraway. You can also see the segmental construction over the railroad at this point. We now have 25th Street back open, and I'll talk about closures before we finish the presentation, but this work is all complete, so you can go on to 25th Street and that's back open. Another view of the conventional bridges and how they will tie to the segmental construction. This is also the ramp coming from 31st Street. The current traffic impact is such that 15th Street is back open, 18th Street is open, Richard Harrison Boulevard is open, 23rd Street is open, even though you can only go under the bridges to that direction. From this point on, it's a private road, so you can't go all the way through on 23rd. 25th is back open also. And the closures are 16th Street, 19th Street, 22nd, and 24th. We want to thank you for being patient with us as we work through these closures. This information is located on our website, 5920bridge.com. And we also send out media alerts when we do make changes as it relates to these lane closures, or these street closures, excuse me. And with that, we encourage you to drive safely, pay attention, be patient, and plan ahead so that you can get to your destination. We want everyone to get home safely. including our workers and you too.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Leonard. As a reminder, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the 5920 Bridge website. All of the aerial images in this presentation are available on the website if the press wants to use those images. At this time, we're going to begin taking questions. If you have questions, please type them in the questions box and we'll take them in the order they are received. Okay, we're not seeing any questions coming in the questions box. You can also email your questions to Linda Crockett after today's presentation, and we will respond in a timely manner. Mr. Leonard, is there anything else you want to add before we conclude the call?
Again, I just want to thank the public for being so patient with us as we continue to improve the infrastructure in downtown Birmingham. This project will greatly, significantly change the skyline of Birmingham, and we think that this will be a very positive impact on Birmingham. And we're excited to get finished with this project, and we just ask you to continue to be patient with us.
Okay, thank you so much. If there's nothing else at this time, this will conclude today's meeting. And again, if you have any other questions, please follow up with Linda Crockett. Thanks, everyone.